I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you won a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man.
Congratulations, brother.
And here we go.
So it's episode 11. We're hanging out at the hangar, doing the thing that we do. Listen, real slow news right now, right? Not a lot for us to really talk about. And if there is something to talk about, we've seen a lot of the other incredible Jets content creators tackle that, dominate that, and do that over and over again. So I decided to go ahead today. We're going to go ahead and talk about the AFC East in its entirety. And in regards to what we expect the New York Jets to not only achieve, but also where we feel our rivals in the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, and of course the Patriots, if we want to consider that a rivalry, since, I mean, yeah, they're definitively in the rebuild. But wanted to go ahead and just pretty much kind of break down what the AFC predictions might look like. We're seeing a lot of individuals coming out right now, kind of giving out their prediction videos or predictions articles, and you're seeing some things that are very, very favorable to the New York Jets, man, and what we're hoping they can absolutely achieve. First and foremost, I want to go ahead and say what's up to a couple of people. What's up, Dark Soldier? Bobby, how you doing, man? Appreciate you. Abby is going to be here tonight, so we're going to bring her on as well. I think she's backstage, as well as Tigo. So we're going to go ahead and have a couple of freaking individuals present with us tonight to go ahead and really talk about this. So in a nutshell, I mean, I guess since we're already here, we're asking about Abby. I know why the majority of you guys are here. I get it now. All right, fine. Without further ado, my co-host for the evening, we got the lovely Abby.
Hi.
What's up, Abby?
What up?
How you feeling today?
Besides it being blazing hot here in Phoenix, we're good. I mean, it's kind of like symbolic of like the season. I mean, it was dead for a little while, then it's heating up again, and then it's going to die down again. So it's kind of symbolic of that at the same time.
Okay. So you're going through those.
I'm getting excited, and the Jets do this to you all the time.
Oh.
So all up here, all to come crashing down, rock bottom.
But not this year. Not this year, Abby. This year, I think this is it. This is the year where we can actually reap the rewards of all of our fandom.
This literally has to be the year. I can't go another year. It will literally kill me.
I agree. I don't know if my blood pressure can take another year of this level of excitement, and then for it to come crashing down again. So I'm with you on that one.
Right.
I got Abby with us tonight, but not just that. We got freaking Tigo in the building. What's good, Tigo?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing tonight?
Yeah, we're just talking about the weather. It's hot over there, and where Abby's at, over here, it's storming.
I felt
like crazy.
that deep right here, Abby. When you said it was hot, it was 98 degrees today. Felt like 104 because of the humidity. I walked out and I was sticky. It was horrible out here.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Yesterday it was 97 degrees here. It felt like 115 because of the humidity, and that's May. That's just an average May in Houston. It's about to get a lot worse here as we enter June. So I mean, I guess we can all, global warming's a real thing. I think that's true, because there's anticipating hotter than normal summers yet again for like the 5th year in a row. Hotter than normal summers. At this point now, it's just normal to us that it's going to be hotter the next freaking year.
I mean, it was 103 here today. Like the triple digits are just starting.
Okay, then. I
think the hottest last year, it had to have been like I think we reached 120 one day. So my leather seats, it's funny, I don't put anything over them. I would rather just burn my legs off.
120?
Yeah, no. 120.
How do you live in that? AC units can only drop like 20 degrees.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're like built to do.
It'll be like midnight and it's still like 100 degrees sometimes.
Oh my God.
I'm like, it's nice outside.
Abby, and you're choosing to stay there. You're choosing to live there.
But that's the difference is it's a dry heat. I would take a dry heat any day of the week. Give me
I would too,
105
bro. But
with 0
120?
humidity than 90 with 100% humidity.
But
I'm not,
that's
dude, 120 is ridiculous, but I get why
that's
you
a
can
lot.
be like, oh, you know what? It's 100 degrees, but at least it's 0% humidity. At least we live in a desert, not in the middle of a swamp.
Yeah, I mean, I lived on the East Coast for 5 years, and that humidity, I hated it. I just felt gross all the time. Like, you're right. It's that stickiness. You know what I mean? But I love it is a dry heat, but anything like past 110, it's just effing hot. Like,
Yeah.
walk outside and it's like, it's effing hot outside. Like, I think at 110, it starts to make a huge difference. 100 right now, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad out. It could be worse, but yeah, I'm already starting to get my little tan going, ready for summer.
Well, Abby, before we kick it off, Dano brought up that you're currently in mirror mode. This is probably your first time using RE Stream for a stream, I think.
Oh, I
So if
think
you click
so.
on settings, click the video, and then you'll see a little switch that says mirror mode. Click that bad. There you go. Boom.
Perfect.
Good looking out, Dano. We've been talking to her this whole time. I didn't even notice that.
I did. I just didn't want to stop the flow.
Oh, man. All right. Well, hey, listen, it's been a very exciting freaking offseason. Like, I know we all talk regularly and we talk about how this Jets team has kind of like brought us back in again into the realm of belief. We're starting to feel as if like we've got the chance again to potentially achieve greatness. We've also admitted to ourselves that last year, potentially that excitement might have been a little bit overhyped because of the acquisition of Aaron Rodgers. I think seeing the Aaron Rodgers experiment kind of like take a early freaking exit, we saw a lot of the holes on the team. But I think this offseason, we all can agree we feel a lot better with what this team looks like in terms of overall as a unit. What say you, Abby?
Oh, I absolutely 100% agree. I mean, the thing is, I wasn't expecting even last year that we were going to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Even this year,
Right.
with a better roster on paper, I still don't think that. But I mean, all the pieces are finally coming together. We've had some players just really develop well over the last year. I mean, Michael Carter II, they just posted his stats, the New York Jets earlier. Incredible. Quincy Williams making that huge leap as well. I'm a big fan of Ashton Davis as well. He's pretty much developed really well over the years and stuff like that. So I'm right there with you. I think the hype this year is that much better. And I think coming off the injury for Aaron Rodgers, there's just that much motivation behind him now.
Agreed. Tigo?
See, I think the disappointing part of last season was the fact that we went from a top 10 quarterback to Zach Wilson, right? Because we still won 7 games in spite of the worst quarterback play combined from the 3 guys all 3 of those guys could not hit the ocean if they were in a canoe in the middle of the Pacific. Like, they could not find a way to hit the wide side of a barn. I don't know if they could hit air throwing the ball. Like, just legitimately, they were that bad. And in spite of that, we won 7 games. And so it might be my like eternal optimist thing going on, but I still think of the only thing that you change from last season is that Aaron Rodgers doesn't go down. Keep everything else the same. Do you really feel like that team isn't an 11-win team? You really don't think we don't beat the Patriots twice? We don't beat the Chiefs in that game? Maybe the Chargers game, the Atlanta game. Like, those are all games that were 1-score games that if we had a quarterback that could, I don't know, just do his job at the minimum level, we would have won those games. And while you're right, I think last year we saw all of the holes on the roster. I think what we saw last year, or at least the lessons that I learned, was this is a damn good team if we have a quarterback. And we have the quarterback, and we've got a good backup, and the team got better. So I'm all in on go get a Super Bowl.
So I see what you're saying, right? In terms of with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, even a 50% Aaron Rodgers, I do agree. I think that we're going to win. There's 4 more games I can see already from last year, automatic dubs. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it for me. And then I could honestly see with a healthy Aaron Rodgers at 50%, the New York Jets winning the AFC East because, again, they were in a lot of those games until pretty much the fourth quarter when the defense was exhausted from constantly being out there. I'm just saying in terms of the wide receiver situation. I jumped on the bandwagon of like, oh yeah, Allen Lazard is your wide receiver too. that's not bad. That's actually pretty good. You're not asking him to be a number one. I was that dude. I was the dude that jumped on that bandwagon like, we can make this work. Dwayne
I was
Brown
right there with you, though.
right? Like we sold ourselves into believing that, like, yeah, this wide receiver room is more than serviceable for Aaron Rodgers. I think in terms of, again, haven't seen it all come to fold the way it did last year, we're realizing, like, man, we really hyped up we really drank the Kool-Aid, and we hyped up some aspects of our team that really wasn't quite there. Whereas this year, I'll be the first to say it, I think if Aaron Rodgers does go down, right, we have Tyrod Taylor back there. I still feel comfortable with Tyrod Taylor running this team and taking us to the playoffs. I'm not saying Super Bowl or anything like that, but I think Tyrod Taylor can get this roster. Let me rephrase that. I think this roster can get Tyrod Taylor to a playoff appearance. So for me, I feel a lot better about this current roster as is. And it's not just us as Jets fans. You're seeing all over right now in terms of all analysts talking about the New York Jets going to the Super Bowl, the Jets winning the AFC East. I've got some that are saying the Jets are going to win the AFC. I haven't seen a single analyst actually put their name on paper out there that has the Jets winning less than 10 games. The individuals who are talking mess are the Colin Cowherds of the world. I think they're just clickbait guys who are just talking crap to talk crap without any kind of facts to back it. I don't understand how you could have that team. We know the New York Jets floor is 7 wins. We've seen that over the last 2 years. Without a quarterback, without an offensive line, this defense is going to get you 7 wins. Now you take the fact that this team has the easiest schedule that they've had in the Robert Saleh era. So you're telling me that alone isn't worth another couple of wins? Now you bring in an Aaron Rodgers who just plays. He can give us the 2022 Aaron Rodgers. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the 3,700 yards, the 26 touchdowns, the 12 freaking interceptions. I'm cool with that. That doesn't go ahead and warrant an additional freaking 2 to 3 wins. I think the individuals who look at this are the ones that state the Jets are a freaking lost cause are the individuals who only look at it and say, oh, it's the New York Jets. Or they know they're going to go ahead and say something. We're going to get pissed off. We're going to go ahead and give them the freaking clicks. We're going to go ahead and get engaged, and they get their cheap engagement points from us. But in terms of the AFC East, how do y'all feel about our counterparts? Let's start with the Buffalo Bills, the reigning AFC East champions. How do y'all feel that the Bills have gotten better? Are they the biggest competitor to the Jets potentially taking the AFC East? Tigo, I'll let you take this one first.
I think with the Bills, I think a lot of Jets fans specifically haven't put the respect that the Bills deserve, which is they're currently the AFC East. Like, that's what the Bills are. They're the AFC East. They've won it in multiple years in a row, and like, you have to put some respect on their team. But let's not act like they didn't lose a ton of players, offensively and defensively. Let's not act like they didn't lose their number one wideout and then did a very, very poor job of trying to replace his production. Let's not act like Josh Allen isn't a turnover machine. And the reality is he didn't even lose his number one target when they traded away Stephon Diggs. He lost his number one target when we didn't re-sign Jordan Whitehead, because that's his favorite wide receiver in the game. Hands down. It's his favorite. So, like, again, you got to respect what they do. They still have Kincaid. They still have Knox. They've got some good weapons. Curtis Samuel. We all wanted Curtis Samuel this offseason. Khalil Shakir was a Jets fan favorite during the draft. But none of those guys are Stephon Diggs. The defense is getting older, and they're coming off of injuries. So, and we split with them 2 years in a row with Zach freaking Wilson. So, look, I respect the Bills, and until they're not the champs of the AFC East, I'm going to have them winning the AFC East. But this is the year where the Jets are coming for them, and I think we sweep them.
Wow.
That's bold.
We should have swept them last year. We should have swept them. If Aaron Rodgers plays both games, we sweep them. We sweep them. I'm sorry. I don't see how they're going to stop our offense. We know how to stop their offense. Josh Allen's not that hard to stop. But how are they going to stop Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Aaron Rodgers and this offensive line? Like, I'm putting it out there right now. Respect on the Buffalo Bills. Don't get it wrong. But they're getting swept this year.
After everything you were saying, I did not expect you to go that way.
Yeah, neither did I. I wasn't expecting the clean sweep.
Clean sweep. Like,
Wow.
I'm not going to get it. Clean sweep. 0-2. We'll go to Buffalo, give them the business, bring them back home, and round 2, boom, give them the business. Like, I just don't, like, tell me how they beat us. I'm just asking the question. How do they beat us? What aspect of their game that we already haven't shown that we can beat them with? Like I just don't see it.
No, listen, and I get what you're saying, right? It's not that I'm scared of the Bills. I think I'm not scared of any team in the AFC East. I look at this Jets roster in comparison to what we're surrounded by, and I feel like without question we've got the best roster. But Josh Allen is still a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, and I get it. Against the Jets, we figured out how to go ahead and make him look human, right? He goes from Superman to looking human. But at the end of the day, I don't know if we can sleep on a guy who puts up the kind of numbers that he does with his legs and with his arm. Not to mention, I think the Joe Brady effect towards the back end of the year kind of like revamped how they want to go ahead and utilize him as a threat in the run, as a threat to pass the ball. Like, you had to show respect to James Cook, who hit 1,000 yards last year. Those tight ends are no joke. I do believe that they got some tight ends that we're going to have some struggles matching up with. I mean, again, I'm not mad at you saying like we're going to sweep these guys. I don't know. Abby, what do you think about facing off the Buffalo Bills?
I mean, I'm here for that type of energy. If we do, that would be the best thing ever. But again, I'm giving them their respect, and we've split with them the last 2 years, and I fully expect to kind of do the same again this year. I think Josh Allen is the type of quarterback we're going to see this year. But for me personally, I think he's the type of quarterback that he's going to make something work with nothing. You know what I mean? I just think he's that type of player. I've always loved Josh Allen in particular. So, but yeah, I mean, if we swept them, great. I mean, I think the only little tidbit, but the only team I think will sweep this year is the Patriots, but that's really not saying much. You know what I mean? But I still think we split with both the Bills and Miami as well. Well, we didn't with Miami last year, but I think we split with Miami this year.
Yeah, so again, Tigo, like Abby said, I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off that. Love the energy. I want that energy. We need that energy. We need you on the wall.
Manifest it.
I mean, I have a hard time envisioning it, only because we are talking about a top 3 quarterback in the NFL and Josh Allen. And yes, we've got his number figured out, but we don't know what Joe Brady might have in store for us and how this Joe Brady-led freaking offense might be adjusted, because Joe Brady's seen him get cooked by us too many times. He might leave the ball out of his hands. Can we go ahead and do a better job at stopping the run? I have question marks about that. I'm really concerned about that. Those 2 tight ends are concerning in terms of matching up against us pretty well. Yeah, I love Quincy, but how do we feel about freaking putting maybe Sauce Gardner on the other guy? Because I don't know if we want CJ Mosley guarding any tight ends at this stage of his career. There's a lot of question marks there. But I have a splitting with the Bills. I don't have us sweeping them. But again, I'm more than happy to go with what Tigo is saying here.
I will just say this to defend my point, and then I'll leave it at this. In 2 games, Josh Allen was able to only muster 250 yards against us, like in each game, right? I think it's a little bit over if you do the math precisely. I did it really, really quick. It's in and around that 250 yards. And he threw 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And that's 1 game without Joe Brady, and that's 1 game with Joe Brady. Because when we faced them the second time, it was with Joe Brady. Now, to put it into perspective, the Jets in both of their games could not muster 200 offensive air yards. In 2 games, we could not muster it. Here's a fun fact. Zach Wilson in that second game threw 15 passes, 7 of them completed for 81 yards. Then got benched for Tim Boyle, who went 7 of 14 for 33 yards. You know who our most effective passer in that game was? Thomas Morstead. 1 pass, 1 completion, 18 yards. He got half the yardage of Tim Boyle with 1 pass. Okay? So, while I get what you guys are saying, and this is not supposed to be taken as me disrespecting the Bills. I don't want it to come off that way. The reality is that we have Josh Allen's number, in my opinion. And while, yes, they can rush, they only, in the second game, they rushed for over 100 yards. And it wasn't James Cook rushed for 70 yards. That's great, and that's totally awesome. We rushed entirely for 63 yards. We could not get offense going at all, and it's because of the problems that we talked about. Stacked boxes, failed quarterback play, and you couldn't find wide receivers that were open. If you take away those three things, because we're not going to face stacked boxes because you have to respect the quarterback, Breece is going to be able to eat because he's not going to run into 8-man boxes every single time. Garrett Wilson is going to get more than Garrett Wilson had 9 yards that game. Our number one passer that game was Breece Hall with 50. I'm just saying it's a different ballgame entirely. And I totally love Joe Brady. I wanted to hire Joe Brady when we were looking for our offensive coordinator. I want to go snatch him because I really, really like Joe Brady. It's just a matter of I don't think we're not the same team. And I think that matters. And I think they're a worse team. And that's how I have it going.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. So then on the other side, we've got the Miami Dolphins, who had the division in their hands last year and fumbled the ball at the finish line and gave it back to the Buffalo Bills. Tua, this offseason, has hired a QB coach and has been working on his mechanics. And apparently, he's exciting a lot of Dolphins fans because it looks like his throws are a little bit more effortless. How do you guys feel about the Miami Dolphins this year when it comes to playing the Jets? Abby?
Well, Gunny, first of all, we were talking about this off air. And, we see Aaron Rodgers, throwing a pass in OTAs to Garrett Wilson. And we're like, ooh, and all of a sudden people think Jets fans are delusional. Miami fans are doing the same thing now with Tua, and it's not a problem. They're not being called delusional. I'm like, it's the same thing. It literally is. 2 months is not going to change that. There's no defenders right up in your face. And so when you're facing pressure like that, you're ultimately going to go revert to what you know. So whatever with that whole QB little coach situation. I never thought that what really was a problem. You know what I mean? He's a good QB as well. Of course, every QB has their improvements, but his throwing abilities were not one of them to me, honestly. But when it comes to the Dolphins, I feel like the Bills are probably the more competitive ones with us this upcoming season. I'm really not scared of Miami at all. I think Miami will start off strong like they always do, but looking at the back half of their schedule, they are bound to go on a losing streak. I mean, they got us week 18, of course, at home. We're playing at MetLife, but they go Green Bay, Jets, Texans, San Francisco, Browns, Jets. They're going to go on a major losing streak at the end. I still have them in double-digit wins at 10 wins, but I still think the Jets and the Bills are probably going to have more wins than that. So that's where I'm at. I'm not threatened by Miami at all because, like we were saying earlier, we should have won one of those games last year. It wouldn't have been 30-0. Like, let's
100%.
be honest. And I hated because after that game, people were talking about the Jets defense to me. And I'm like, well, when they're on the field, look at the time of possession. And when they're on the field over half the game, of course they're going to be gassed. Of course Hill's going to go on a long run. Of course there's going to be those long passes. It's not going to – they're tired. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't look at stats in the second half sometimes because those games are terrible. Yeah, exactly.
Context matters. It's funny because I had a lot of individuals jump on and start coming for me, and I'm like, you guys are really excited about this, not taking into consideration that the Jets offense gave up short yardage situations literally 4 times in that game. But go off because you got 30 points off of 4 times y'all had within 15 yards to score. Y'all got 30 points in that entire game, but y'all want to go off. But again, context matters. Like, we all watched that game. We know where the majority of those points came from. And you're right. When the defense is the only opponent playing, they're going to get gassed. And they got some speedsters, so they got one off on freaking on Sauce. But it's funny, the highlight of their season was Sauce, the one touchdown that Hill got on Sauce's zone coverage, by the way. It wasn't man-to-man, on the zone coverage. They still talk about it. They're so excited about it. But Tigo, what do you think about the Miami Dolphins versus the Jets?
See, I think I think Miami is more competitive than Buffalo. And the reason I say that is I think Buffalo did a lot of Miami did a lot of really good things this offseason. They did a lot of really bad things too. Like, I think their defense objectively got worse. in certain areas. I think they objectively got better in other areas, but I think the biggest thing that they did was hiring Weaver as their defensive coordinator. For those of you who don't know, he was the assistant head coach and the defensive line coach for the Baltimore Ravens, and he's coming in. And so while I do think that offensively, the NFL might have caught up to what Tua is. And I do think that meeting up with a QB coach is going to change certain things about how you can think about it. But like Abby said, when you have 300 pounds of Quinnen Williams running up in your face, trying to get another interception on you, right? Like trying to double up his interceptions against Miami, you revert back to the same old. You've been throwing the ball that way since you were what, 9? 2 months isn't going to change that. You know what I mean? Like Gunny, you can answer this. How many years were you in the Marine Corps? How many of those little things that you still do from that you were in the military, like sitting facing an exit?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I do that
always
instinctively.
I scour a building whenever I come in there to find.
I know where all of the exits are, and
my
it's
back
just
is
one
never
of those
against a wall,
exactly,
or never against a door. Like it's ingrained in you.
Exactly. It's things that you just do instinctively because, well, they've been drilled into you. The same thing about Tua. So I have a splitting with Miami in my mind. And it's just because I think that they have enough pieces to give us fits in certain areas. And I think that you can win off a lucky one. And it's just, we have one of the best quarterback trios in the NFL. But I just don't think you can stop Tyreek Hill, Waddle, OBJ, Mostert, all at the same time. We just don't have, we're the best defense in the NFL. You just can't stop all of them at the same time. So while we might be able to stop Tua, we're not going to be able to stop everybody. So I think we split with them. I think that they're a relatively good team, but I'm also going to throw this in here. I'm not going to take Tua playing every game of last year as a standard of what he is. Keep out because there still might be the injury there. He might still have the injury bug, and he just got lucky for 1 year. You know what I mean? That happens. Didn't it happen with who's the linebacker that came to us? We all wanted him, and then he went to Pittsburgh and got hurt again. He was hurt all of his career, came to the Jets, played a full healthy season. What's his name? We're number 5, dropped a bunch of big hits. Everyone loved him. Not number 5. Oh, my God. Everybody loved him.
Who?
The linebacker. I can't remember his name. Came in to compete with Quincy, and then Quincy won the job 2 years ago.
Oh, Quan Alexander.
Quan Alexander. Thank you very much. Like, it was like Quan. Quan came in after not being able to stay healthy, stayed healthy, left, got hurt again. You know what I mean? And that can happen with Tua. The same thing can happen with Tua. So I think we split with them, and that's more just I respect their head coach as an offensive mind, and I think he'll find ways to get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Beckham and Mostert. And if it's fully healthy versus fully healthy, those are going to be our most fun games this year as against Miami, in my opinion.
So, yeah, I'm going to answer this. So Dano asked, is it true that Tua lost 40 pounds? Yes. Tua lost, I think it was close to 30-something pounds. But he looks way smaller than he did from last year. Now, the question I have for that, to kind of go off of what Tigo just said, is last year he put on that weight to protect himself to be able to absorb more hits. He now dropped that weight. Tua was never a mobile quarterback. So people are saying, well, he's no more mobile now. That was never his forte. He's not going to go ahead and all of a sudden be running 4.4 because he dropped 30 pounds. He's not a fast guy, not a mobile quarterback. So he drops it, which in essence puts him back in that category of what he was before that, where the injuries were happening. So I do have some concerns about Tua losing the weight. I know people are saying, well, he learned how to roll, so that's going to go ahead and make things a lot easier. But, hey, having some fluff on you to go ahead and roll easier probably helped him quite a bit last year. So there's some concerns about that. I agree. I don't know if the Jets sweep the Dolphins. I look at Tyreek Hill. I look at Mostert. I look at Waddle. I look at freaking Akane, and I see a track team, just a track team that's going to go ahead and run. And then you're talking about they have OBJ now. I'm a huge fan of the Malik Washington pick. That one hurt my feelings quite a bit that he fell to the 6th round and the freaking Miami Dolphins wound up picking him up. I think
Braxton Berrios, Anthony Schwartz, dude, track stars. Taj Washington, track stars.
They're going to score points, and as great as an defense that we are, I don't know if we can stop these guys for 2 games. I think they're gonna get us at home, and they're gonna go ahead and beat us there. It won't be a beat down. I don't believe they're gonna beat us down, but they're gonna be able to do just enough to outscore us in that game, because that is a lot of guys you got to go ahead and figure out a game plan for. And again, our defense matches up pretty well, but the X factor to me is McDaniel. I think McDaniel is an offensive genius. I'm calling him the Mad Hatter whenever it comes to freaking offense, because the stuff that he did last year, and as teams adjusted to it, it kind of sucks for him because he does have a limited quarterback, so he can't really get as experimental as he could get. I really feel Tua is what's holding this team back, and I love the fact that the Dolphins fans think well, not all of them, a good portion of them realize he's a problem. But I'm so happy that most Dolphin fans are like, sign that man, throw him the bag, because that's really what's holding that team back. I really believe if they had a Jared Goff on that roster like the last couple of years, I think they would have won the AFC East a couple of times. I think they would have probably been pushing towards the Super Bowl with a guy like a Jared Goff. The limitation that is Tua is going to be what I think winds up slowing these guys down. And if we wind up sweeping them, I do believe it's because we catch them on the back end of the season when it does get a little cooler. So the heat advantage that they grow accustomed to in Dolphin Stadium is gone. They got to come play us in the cold. So we already know how that is. Tua doesn't do well in that atmosphere. So I still got to split him with them only because I respect the speed and I really respect freaking what McDaniel has been able to do offensively. So I think that's going to be enough for them to sneak one by us. But I'll say this. I actually think they're more of a threat than the Buffalo Bills. I look at the Dolphins and I look at what this offense can be. I think they've taken steps backwards. Their best, I think last year, they should have won the division. I think that's probably the best roster you're ever going to put around freaking Tua. It's never going to happen again. You're going to have to pay this kid, and then now you're going to go ahead and just keep getting worse because you can't afford to put premier talent around him. But that was their moment, and they missed it. So this year, the team is not as good. Yeah, they might have more depth. They feel happy about that. But you can't put your depth out on the field freaking, you know what I'm saying, every snap. So eventually, when you put some of those guys out there, they're going to get beat because you don't have the superstars on defense anymore. I think you're starting to see Tyreek Hill now at the age of 30 years old, on the other side of 30 now. Eventually, man, he's a speed guy. That's going to catch up. So I think right now the Miami Dolphins, if they have a chance to go ahead and make a playoff push, it's this year. This is it. Because once you pay Tua, it's all downhill from there because you can't keep paying these guys around them. So I have the Dolphins potentially being the team that wins the AFC East this year if it ain't us. I think they're more talented than the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills have issues on defense and on offense. That offensive line is still very mid at best. They just lost their center as well. People are not talking about how they lost the pretty much core captain of their freaking offensive line. He is now gone. Josh Allen's going to have to take snaps from somebody else. Those things matter, and I don't know if they're going to go ahead and be able to get through the gauntlet of individuals they got to go through because they've got the hardest freaking schedule as well in our division. So they've got a lot to go through, man. I think they're going to catch some L's and take a major step back. And I think, again, the Dolphins having the second easiest schedule in our division with, I think, the second most talented roster in our division is going to be enough to push us potentially for the AFC East. But with that said, talking about all this talent and whatnot, now it brings us to the Patriots. The New England Patriots. Listen, they've been at the top of the food chain for 20 plus years. So when I say fuck them, I can't say it loud enough. Fuck them. I am so happy that they are where they're at now. And I love hearing the delusion of their content creators. I love hearing the delusion of their fan base as they try to sell themselves that they're still that girl. They're not. They're not. It's over for them. But I digress. Tigo, take it away. How do you feel about the New England Patriots in the AFC East?
It's funny because the thing that wins you games, right, is like that X factor. Who's the X factor? Who's the guy who's going to, in that last minute, who's going to win you a game? And if it's not your quarterback, then you need multiple X factors, right? Like the X factor for the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes. And it doesn't help that they also have an X factor in Kelsey. That's why they win so many Super Bowls. The opposite can be said about San Francisco, right? Purdy is not an X factor. He's not even a factor. But Ayuk, Debo, freaking McCaffrey, that defense, those are X factors. And they just weren't good enough to overcome. There isn't a single player, not one, on that roster in New England that I go, oh, watch out for that guy. Right? They've got good players. Christian Gonzalez, before he got hurt, was looking really nice. And Jabril Peppers is a great safety. And Barmore looks really good. And you know what? KJ Bourne and freaking Smith-Schuster and Jalen Polk, those are nice pickups. And they took my guy in the draft in Javon Baker. But, like, they're a team of Jags at best.
Yep.
They're a team of Jags at best. And I think the biggest tell that even New England knows is like, shit, we're going to be really bad is the idea that of what Gerard Mayo had to come out and said to protect Drake May. Because I think people are saying, oh, the comments that Mayo said means he doesn't like May. I don't think that's what it is. I think the comments are being made because he saw the rest of the team and he's like, crap, we can't put May out there. We're going to have to play Brissett 17 games. So let me sell this fan base in the NFL that he's not ready. Because if I put May out there, I'm going to ruin the kid. Jacoby Brissett, I don't care if I ruin him. But I just spent a top 5 pick on this kid. I need to protect him for his life. We don't have a team. We don't have a team that's stopping a wet blanket, let alone an NFL football team. I feel confident that there are college football teams that could beat New England right now. Feel that confidently. I can say that with my chest. Telling me Georgia doesn't come in and give them a game?
I mean, I don't know about that.
Give them a game, dude. You're saying it's not a game? You're not. I'm just saying it'd be a good game. Georgia, with 17-year-olds.
Georgia currently right now has a bunch of kids who are going to wind up being accountants.
Last year's Georgia, let's say that.
Clerks and stuff. But even still, bro, you're talking about guys who are drafted. And that whole argument, and again, I get it. I understand. The Patriots do suck. They look like they're that bad. Like the talent around them, it's just another guy. Everybody on there is just a bunch of guys. That's it. But, man, these are grown men still playing at the NFL level in NFL weight rooms with NFL concepts, going up against kids who would be excited and who might be younger and more willing. But, man, I don't know, dog. I don't think I'd have to see it. I really actually would love to see, like, the worst team. This should be like the thing. The worst team in the NFL has to face off against the best college team. And no,
that'd be child abuse. That's child abuse. I like saying that because it'll never happen. And in reality, it's probably not true. But it's just that's how bad New England is. You can say something wild like that, and people would argue about it. People will argue about it.
Oh yeah.
What's like not Michigan, right?
It will be a debate.
They didn't have a quarterback. Let's say Michigan from last year versus this New England Patriots team. Like, I don't know. Can they stop Michigan's run game? I'm just saying. They might not have to have JJ McCarthy throw a ton or how are they going to stop their run game? Like, they just don't have the players. I
don't think with even how bad the Patriots are right now, it would even be as bad as the Jets have been. I mean, I remember when we had that two-win season not that long ago. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give them a little more credit, not much, I might say. I'm giving them 4 or 5 wins. I've been going back and forth. 6 is their ceiling, I think, would be for me. But yeah, I mean, May's got a couple of. First of all, I think those comments about from Mayo about May were taken out of context just a little bit. And he does have stuff to work on. I remember looking at some of his highlights. He does this pop step. It's like a pop, and then he'll throw. That's not going to work. It's fine when there aren't defenders in your face, but that's not going to work for half of these defenses that we have right now. So he's got stuff to work on. But I'm with you, Gunny. I loved seeing them be totally rock bottom. I like them arguing. They're arguing with Milton, even is still being in the mix. They're arguing about QBs, and it's nice to see the Jets like be out of that conversation for once.
So I have a quick question before Gunny you go on your thing. Abby, you said, do you have their schedule pulled up? The New England Patriots schedule pulled up. So you said 4 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. I see 1 maybe win. Where are the 4 wins that you see on their schedule? I'm asking because I'm genuinely curious what teams you think this New England team can beat.
All right. I have them going on like a 6-game losing streak. So I think they can maybe beat the Jags.
Okay.
Okay. I think they can beat the Bears.
Is that a London game?
The Bears, that one I don't know.
No, the Jags game. That's in London.
Jacksonville
losing in their home court? That's a home game.
And then the thing is, I was giving them a little more credit because with these teams like this, they're gonna, they still have
the defense.
Yeah, they still have a good defense. And then on top of that, it's like you have these games, these sneaky games where teams find a way to win all the time. You know what I mean? So
the Jets versus the Eagles last year.
Yeah, exactly. I have them with a win over the Titans, surprisingly. And then I actually have them beating the Chargers.
Oh.
Which comes at the towards the end of their season.
So those
I had 5 wins at one point. Let me see who the 5th one I had was.
I got them beating the Bears, the Cardinals. I think they're going to go
Cardinals
ahead.
Was the last one, yeah.
Yeah, I think they can beat the Jaguars too. Actually, if I'm
I
honest.
have a ceiling of 2 wins: Tennessee and Chicago.
2? No,
2.
See,
Tennessee and Chicago. Arizona is better than New England, in my opinion.
How?
Arizona, dude, because they have a quarterback. I don't even like Kyler Murray, but they have a quarterback and Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, let's not. Who's going to stop Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I think you're forgetting that the Patriots had a top 5 defense last year. The defense wasn't a scrub. Like I think people keep forgetting that they had a top 5 defense last year. And I look at Kyler Murray. I'm sorry, man. Kyler Murray excited everybody with that rookie year, but this is a guy who's, again, just another guy to me. I think that he can get confused really easily. He can get freaking rattled. Also, that Patriots defense can do damage against him. Chicago Bears, they're going to eat Caleb Williams a lot. Look at the statistics and metrics. They were top 5 in scoring. They were top 5 in rushing defense. I think they were top 10 when they came to the passing.
They were, in my opinion, the second best rushing defense in the NFL. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But they couldn't cover for Dick.
Oh no, bro, you're mistaken. That freaking
once Gonzalez went down,
But that was towards the back end of the season, though. Yeah, but if we lose Sauce Gardner for a
we still won against. We lost Sauce and DJ and had to play Michael Carter II outside against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's again be honest. Our defensive line made those wins happen because the pressure they were getting
because we
to
have
freaking
that.
Jalen Hurts.
Because we have that. They don't.
I think I'm with Abby on this one. I see 5 wins. I see the Cardinals, the Chicago Bears. I think they can beat the Seahawks as well. I think they could beat the Jaguars and the Titans.
I told you. I thought their ceiling could be 6. I just have around 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I will say this. First of all, we're in May. These measured takes in May. How dare you? This is a wild season. 0 wins. Caleb Williams is going to win his Offensive Rookie of the Year award against New England Week 10. All right. Wild takes that you don't have to back up because people will forget before training camp starts.
I already hate Caleb Williams.
We're in, all right.
I hate the
I don't
Bears.
like Caleb either.
I want to see him bust, and it's going to be great to see him bust. Listen, I think the Patriots are definitively probably a bottom 5 team right now in the NFL. It wouldn't surprise me if they wind up getting the first overall pick. But I definitely stand with Abs on this one. I don't see it being that. When you have a defense, which we as Jets fans should know, when you got a defense, you've got a chance to get to sneak a couple of games in. And I think with their defense, we got to at least respect that. Now, when it comes to the offensive side of the football, I think they're in trouble. I do believe the Drake May comments were actually legitimate. Drake May, again, played out of freaking UNC. This is a guy who threw for, I think, a maximum of 3,600 yards against mid-competition his college career. I know you were a big fan of him. I don't see it. To me, he reminds me of Zach Wilson 2.0. He's just a bigger body, but he's a slow processor. He gets really, really sloppy with his footwork. Yes, he can make those nice, beautiful throws down the field every now and again. It's exciting. He can escape the pocket. I watched this draft class, and literally I saw my Trevor Lawrence being Caleb Williams. I saw Zach Wilson, Drake May. Like, you see the Jaden Daniels is freaking your Justin Fields. You could literally identify almost the same category of individuals from the 2021 or 20 quarterback class. And I'm just like, ugh, only one of these guys is going to make it. I put my money on maybe JJ McCarthy. Call me because that's just my feeling on it. But in all actuality, this might be one of those situations where we're talking about whether the Trevor Lawrence draft class or the freaking Caleb Williams draft class is amongst the worst draft class when it comes to quarterbacks or the most overhyped of all time. I think this offense is going to be struggling. It's going to be fun to watch personally, but I do have the New York Jets definitively sweeping the Patriots this year. And I think it's going to be the beginning of a nice little freaking run for us. It's going to happen multiple times over the next several years, but it starts this year where they get swept by the New York Jets. So I'm pumped about that personally.
I'm disappointed in all of you.
I'm just saying.
Talking with your mind. This is talking with your heart season. They're winning 0 games. The only quarterback that's going to work out of this draft is Bo Nix because of course he is. Why wouldn't he be the only one to work out of this draft, right? Measured takes.
Bo Nix.
And it's only because he went to the Broncos with Sean Payton and somehow Sean Payton is going to figure that out. I don't actually believe that. Again, I wasn't a big fan of any of the quarterbacks in this draft. And I think you're probably right. If we're being objective, is Arizona really all that better? Is the Titans game is probably closer than I want to believe that it is, even though I want to believe in the Titans. I don't see it with the Jags, especially in London. The Jags don't lose in London. You know, like it just doesn't, like, you have to be better than them to beat them in London. But you're right. There are sneaky games in there that they can definitely go win. Seattle has to travel across the country to play New England at 1:00. That's a game that they can win for sure. But it's May. Why am I having measured takes in May? 0 wins. And then they're going to lose the number 1 overall pick because they're going to call Tom Brady again to come back.
Bro, you're okay. I see what this
Can't talk to other ownership groups. Can't do it. And then they're going to call Andrew Luck without asking the Colts, and they're going to lose their next number 1 overall pick. And then Robert Kraft's going to lose all his money, sell the team, and they're going to go to Canada. And we all rejoice. Bruh, it's May. Stop having measured takes.
You're on a different one tonight. All right. So that they again, this is one of the predictions that have been out there. AI's got the New York Jets doing some crazy things. I saw one where it had like every Jets wide receiver at 1,000 yards receiving and double-digit touchdowns and whatnot. Again, I think that's a little bit of hyperbole. This isn't Madden. This is the NFL after all. But you're seeing a lot where they're putting the New York Jets as the favorites to go ahead and win the AFC East, although Vegas doesn't believe that to be the case.
Yeah, I was like, Vegas doesn't. They still have Buffalo, I believe.
They still got Buffalo, yep. And then I think Miami Dolphins aren't far behind them.
Right.
But you've got the Jets at 12-5, 11-6, 9-8, and 7-10 for the Dolphins. I think is just ridiculous. I don't see
it's crazy.
New England is crazy. Where do you see 9 wins?
I don't
you
understand.
Could convince me 9?
9 makes. There's no way this team is winning 9 games this season. There's no way. And there's no way the Dolphins are winning 7. I'm sorry. Like, unless Tua gets hurt and Mike White forgot how to throw a football, there's just so much talent on that offensive side of the ball. And McDaniel at the helm, I don't see them losing double digits. I just don't see it happening. But the Bills at 11-6, I think is actually high. I get it. I understand the Josh Allen thing, that he's the guy that we got to go ahead and dethrone. He's the current AFC champions. But Abby, I'm going to go to you. When you see this prediction, like this breakdown, what do you agree with? What don't you agree with, and why?
Dolphins are going to have more than 7 wins. They didn't regress that much. You know what I mean? They still have an offense, which will make up for most of it. Patriots at 9-8, that's crazy. I was giving them the benefit of the doubt with 4 or 5 wins, but finding a way to sneak 9 wins. They start off Bengals, Seahawks, Jets, San Francisco, Miami, Texans, Jags. They don't have a bye week till later in the season either. So they're going to be kind of beat up. Now, where going to the Jets and the Bills, I actually have that. I can see them actually tying, but I actually right now have that switch. So I have the Bills at 12-5 and the Jets right now at 11-6. I think the ceiling for the Jets this year would be I think they could get to 13 wins, but realistically 12. I don't think there's we have at least 10 wins this season. I see a lot of 9 and 8. Some people say 7 and 10 again. Where are you getting these? They're just crazy. And I've had the Niners fans already coming for me week 1, all cocky and confident. And I get it, but I get the hype around the game, but again, it's like they don't watch any of our games. Like, you're sleeping on this defense if you think that. I get San Francisco has a great defense. So do the Jets. So do the Browns. Don't sleep on us at all. Even our backups have proven to be good and get us through situations, aka the Eagles game. But yeah, I'm realistically, Jets to me are 11 and 6. I actually have brought them down to 10. The one game I just go back and forth with is honestly that Texans game. I know it's at home. It's at MetLife this year. But to be honest, I mean, look at how quickly they turned that squad around. Playoff team. I mean, obviously we know Stroud got hurt the game he was playing with us. We got a tough stretch though. But I do think in the beginning of the season, we go on a nice long winning streak. Again, I have a sweeping the Patriots. I have a splitting with Miami and the Bills. Obviously, if we swept them, I'd be okay with that too. But yeah, the AI stuff has been crazy lately. But again, the only one that's too far off on this are the Patriots and Dolphins. Otherwise, the Jets could be 12 and 5. I would agree with that. Bills 11 and 6. That's accurate too. But actually, in my opinion, have them Bills and Jets flipped.
So I gotta ask you this, Abs. So you got the Jets comfortably at 11 and 6. Who do you have us losing to?
Niners, Steelers, because it's away, and it's that Sunday Night Football. Again, Texans I've gone back and forth with, so we'll count that. Once to Miami, once to the Bills, and then I also have us losing to the Rams, even though that game is at MetLife.
Ooh, that's an interesting one.
That is an interesting one. Okay, so then who do you have? So the Bills, you say 12. So are you? So the Bills have the hardest schedule this year.
Yeah, they do.
So are you just betting on Josh Allen? I mean, a guy, the third best quarterback in football. You just feel like he's going to go ahead and do what he's got to do?
Yeah, I think he's going to carry this team. I mean, he has the legs to do it. He has the arm to do it as well. I don't think he's working with completely nothing. Obviously we saw last season I'm not saying he's Mahomes, but he's a top quarterback right now in the league, and he's going to have to prove himself this year. But I just don't think they're working with completely nothing. Sure, they lost a few pieces, but they also added. It's not like those guys are complete bums. It's guys that the Jets were looking at one point in time. There was rumors going around. The only one with the Bills that I could see them being 11 and 6 again is I actually have them they play KC again this year, right before their bye week.
Right.
It's at home. I actually have them winning that game. The one I've gone back and forth with too for them is also the Rams, surprisingly.
Okay. And then you got the Dolphins coming in right after us?
10 and 7. Yep.
10 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
What's your Patriots prediction?
4 and 13.
4 and 13. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. So, and that kind of but it makes sense though, because some of all the teams you've got as losses for the Jets, I've either had them as losses or I'm on the fence too. Like, we might be able to pull it off.
I think we can beat the Steelers. I do. It's just that environment is crazy. And it's coming after we just have a big stretch of games. And again, people don't, I know it's been going around on Twitter and everything, but the amount of time before each of the games in the first 10 weeks of our schedule is crazy. It's not consistent at all. And I know it's not a primetime game, but the London is a standalone game on top of that. But just the timing in between and some stuff like that irks me. I also don't like playing Miami twice so close together towards the end of the year, because if it comes to Jets trying to fight for a playoff spot, I don't want to be in that position at all, coming down all the way to week 18 against Miami.
Okay. So then, is that enough for the Jets to make the playoffs?
Yes. At least a wild card.
We're a wild card. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Tigo.
I'm going through right now actually because I was very curious about what like Abby was saying. I'm just going through the seasons. I'm on week 8 of my predicting every game of every team just to see how it plays out. I will say this about the AI. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to sit here and think that the Patriots are going to win 9 games. I think that's ludicrous. Has to be taking like history into account there or something. I just don't have an explanation in my head for how they win 9 games. Like being seriously. I think if you look on those games, I think that they would be very, very lucky to steal 6. And like it would have to be highway robbery for them to get to 6. Because I think 4 or 5 is more realistic for them. I just don't really. It is the NFL. At any given Sunday, any team can win, except for like the bottom 5 teams. They have to fight against one another. So you're going to have to beat the Cardinals if you want to win. You're going to have to beat the Bears if you're going to want to win. You're going to have to beat the Titans if you want to win. And so it's very interesting to see there. Same thing with Miami. Miami at 7 wins is very like, in what world? In what world is Miami only getting 7 wins? Like to me, 7 wins says Tua goes down, Mike White goes down, Strevler is playing, and McDaniels gets kidnapped by the Colombian mafia in Miami. Like that's like everything really, really, really needs to go wrong. And like Hill needs to get like one of his baby mamas needs to take a hit out on him. You know, like so many things need to go wrong. They try to get 7 because I think the team is good enough to carry the quarterback. We've seen them do that with Tua for years now, just like you said earlier, Gunny. And I have just instinctively, I'm going to finish it up and I'll tell you how it ends up in a little bit, the whole season and how it plays out and my predictions and just gut reactions. I'm not really thinking all that much when I do this. I have it Jets 11, Miami 10, Buffalo 9. That's my gut instinct is I would go 11, 10, 9, Jets, Fins, Bills in that order. And you could convince me to give the Bills another win so that it's 11, 10, 10, and then 4, let's say. But my gut instinct is 11, 10, 10 or 11, 10, 9.
Okay. So you got the Jets at 11.
11.
Bills at 10.
Bills and Dolphins at 10. If you're going to put one of them at 9, I have the Dolphins at 10 and the Bills at 9.
Okay. So shout out to Hader Ali. I did not know this. Apparently, Vegas has actually shifted the odds. So now it's plus 150 for the Bills and the Jets and Fins now tie at plus 200. When I saw it freaking just last week, we were 3rd. And we were behind them by almost, I think it was like by $80 or something like that. Dang. So I guess something shifted. And Vegas is just like, you know what? This is going to be closer than we thought. That's close. That's as tight as you can ask for a division. Hater, if you don't mind my asking, man, find out what the Patriots' chances are at winning the AFC East. I'm kind of curious. I'll have to go ahead and put that up there for the people. Oh, that makes my heart so happy on so many levels. All right. I mean, yeah, I have a hard time arguing with both of you. I mean, I feel like you guys are being very level-headed when it comes to this. I see a couple of individuals who are talking about 14-3, 13-4. I'm about to go ahead and share the link real quick. We got a couple of individuals in before we hop off, but I'll give mine real quick before we do that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I look at this and I think it is insane as well. I think the Dolphins at 7 and 10 is just it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. I don't know what AI algorithm they used or how smart this thing is, but it must be based off of the past when it comes to the Patriots. It hasn't watched the Dolphins play the last couple of years. I mean, the Jets is going off of like what Aaron Rodgers was during the MVP season. Like, I think this algorithm is broken. But I'll say this. I had the Jets winning the AFC East. I look at the route to getting there, and I think, again, having the most favorable schedule, I got us taking advantage of that. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play an entire season. And I do believe if we lose Aaron Rodgers, knock on wood, because that is not what I'm hoping for, that we have a viable backup in Tyrod Taylor that can go ahead and pick up the mantle and continue to move forward. I think as long as either the offensive line or Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, I'm stealing this from Dano, I think this team is still playoff bound and on track potentially to go ahead and win the AFC East. So I've got the Jets going. Yeah, I'm going to go with 11-6. I think it's an 11-6 team as well, and it's only because I do have some concerns in regards to that Rams game, the 49ers game, and that Texans game. I have us losing to the Steelers. I'm going to be at that game. By the way, Dano, I know we talked about it. I think
the curse.
So I feel like, man, I look at that short week. The Steelers are being slept on. I love what they did in the offseason. I think we lose that game too. So a lot of the losses that I have that you brought up, Abby, are the same ones that I have brought up. But of course, I let my fandom kind of push me towards the side of the Jets. But I think 11-6 is very realistic and very fair. Can they go 12-5? It wouldn't surprise me. Could they go 17-0? It wouldn't surprise me because, again, I don't see any game on paper I look at and I'm like, man, we're going to get smoked. I don't see any game that really scares me. But the way some of those games line up in terms of our guys being rested and the other team being ready to go, I think will take its toll. And it's the NFL. You know, we're going to lose a game we shouldn't lose. We're going to win a game we probably shouldn't win. But I think 11-6 is a fair shot for the New York Jets. I've got the Miami Dolphins right behind us at 10-7. I think the Dolphins right now, again, their schedule starts off relatively easy, just like last year, right? They're going to go ahead and I think run to about 8 wins really, really quickly as they hit the harder part of their season. They do have that early bye. I think that might impact these guys. Again, this isn't a physical team. It's a finesse team. These guys are going to start to slow down and wear down a little bit because they're getting that bye week so early. It doesn't give them a lot of rest time, specifically when you're talking about going into the winter months when football really becomes football. So I think they're going to pay the piper when it comes to that. How they figure life out in December and beginning of mid-November to December is going to dictate whether or not they make a wild card spot. I think their talent is there. I don't know if the intestinal fortitude is there. I don't know if I trust in Tua to be able to figure out how to play in cold weather environments. Can Tua be the reason this team wins a game here and there? I don't know if he can go ahead and elevate himself against the better teams. We haven't seen it yet. We think he can. We've seen him progress every year now in this system. But then the question mark comes into play. Will he be able to go ahead and stay healthy yet again for another year? So I still believe the Dolphins have the second most talented roster in this division. And I love their head coach. I love McDaniel. I mean, I think that when it comes to offensive minds, this guy is, again, the Mad Hatter. He's back there cooking up some things to utilize the weapons to the best of his ability. After that, I got the Buffalo Bills at 9 wins, 9-8. Can they win 10? Potentially, yeah. I still would have the Miami Dolphins at second place in the division. It's a lot, man. We're asking Josh Allen to do something he wasn't able to do when he had support around him. All of a sudden, he's supposed to go ahead and be Superman and be able to elevate himself to carry a team with significantly less talent to the promised land. And you're talking about a guy that, yeah, they won it last year because Miami fumbled the bag. I'll say this all day. Miami fumbled the bag. Like, it was theirs to go ahead and win. It was the AFC East belonged to them. And they fumbled the bag at the freaking the 5-yard line. And they were able to go ahead and creep up and score. So I don't know if you can keep depending on that kind of luck. And you did this last year when you had your offensive line stay healthy the entire season, when you had your running back stay healthy the entire season, when you had your wide receiver threats 1 and 2 out there. Yeah, they'll tell you like, well, the second half of the season, they didn't really do anything. Okay, cool. But the fact that they were out there meant defenses were still respecting the ability of Stephon Diggs and of Gabe Davis. So it opened up a lot of things underneath. Can those tight ends take a step forward and become what they lost in Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis? I doubt it. But if it does happen, all right, we'll see. They're not as talented as they were last year. They're significantly older on the defensive side of the football. I think they're going to take a major step backwards, especially as the Josh Allen money kicks in. So I got them at 9 wins. And the Patriots, man, listen, they're rebuilding. This is what a rebuild looks like. They've got one side of the ball figured out on the defensive side. Great for them. But on the offensive side of the ball, it's just laughable. It's really just laughable. People will talk about, coaching this, coaching that, coaching this. What did Bill Belichick look like without Tom Brady? At the end of the day, you've got to have the dogs in the race for you to win games at the NFL level. I don't care how good of a coach you are. If you don't have the players you're not going to be a winner, not a contender. And they're far from that. I don't know what Mayo's going to be in terms of being a coach. I do know that the Belichick freaking coaching tree has been atrocious in the NFL, and he stems from that tree. So the outlook doesn't look good. I think Mayo's a pretty cool cat. I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed watching him when he was a player. I rooted against him, obviously, all the time. But if you love football, you love guys who play defense at a high level. He was one of those guys. I don't know if it's going to translate to being a coach. I think the Patriots really, honestly, we're talking at about 5 wins. I think they go freaking 5-12. I think they're going to have a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. We're going to go back to the drawing board, whether they decide to go defense, trade a pick, maybe look at quarterback again. I don't know. I don't know how long it'll take them to realize that Drake may aid him, or if Mayo will have the ability to go ahead and draft another guy. I don't know. But ultimately for me, they're going to go 5-12. I think the Patriots are finishing with a bottom 3 record in the NFL. I love to see it. I pray for their demise, and I'm excited to be here to be able to witness it as a Jets fan. So I had a couple
Real quick,
of you guys.
Gunny.
Go ahead.
So I did the whole bracket, the whole thing, every game, every team, just to see. And again, gut feeling. No thought was just this team versus this team. Who's winning? Gun to your head. Make it. That was how I made the decision. So just for the AFC East, it went Jets, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots. I had the Jets at 15-2, the Bills at 11-6, and the Dolphins at 9-8. And those are just gut feelings. Like in terms of what teams can we beat? It's not even can we beat? It's what teams should we beat and what teams should beat us. And the only teams that should beat us that I had us losing to was the San Francisco 49ers and the Miami Dolphins. In all reality, you could throw in at least another 4 losses in there if we're being realistic. We could probably more than likely splitting with the Bills, losing a trap game, somewhere along those lines. But just gut feelings, 15-2 for the New York Jets. I'm not that mad at it.
I thought Greeny on ESPN was delusional, but
It's May.
you, my friend, have
Don't take this as standard regular Tigo. This is May. May and June is for wild takes. If you want measured, when I actually have time, sat down, thought about it, looked at depth charts, that's 2 months away. Right now, 15-2, and we won the Super Bowl.
All right. I see a bunch of y'all decided to jump on real quick, so I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys in one by one. We got about 10 minutes to kind of rattle through what y'all thought process are. I think, Johnny, you were the first one back here, so let's kick you off real quick. Johnny, what's going on?
Hey, Abs. What up, Tigo? What up, Gunny?
Hey, man. How you doing, Johnny?
Oh, living the dream, first off. I'm kidding. Not. My wife's.
Oh, wait. I forgot to ask you, where's all your Knicks stuff at?
Oh, hold on.
No, she did not. No, hey, we're not doing that here, Abs. We're not doing that here. We're still healing. Still healing.
You're still healing. I am.
I'm proud of my squad, right? Because nobody thought we would have took the second seed in the East the way we did. And then no matter what, Brunson broke his hand, and you saw what the Celtics just did.
Someone called me an adopted Knicks fan because I'm a Jets girl, so I was rooting for them. But
we embrace you. We embrace you, Johnny.
Hey,
what's your prediction for the AFC East, brother?
I mean, we've taken that whole division, right? So I got the Jets 14-3, man. I mean, we lose to the Niners. The trap game is Houston, so I keep saying it, man. CJ Stroud has something to prove. He circled that damn game as soon as he saw the schedule come out. Because we made him look like crap. Man, this dude got a Mavericks thing on.
One of our team's still in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's funny. And then we lose at Buffalo. The question mark of the game for me is Week 18, the Miami game, because I feel like at that point we probably are already in, and we're gonna have like Jordan Travis starting that game just to see what we have with them. Maybe I don't know, just. Bro, it's different, man. When you start putting that whole schedule together, the Niners, I mean, I think it's a loss, right? But then Tennessee, who do they have over there? Yes, their receiving core is good, but what is Will Levis? New England, you already know that shit show over there. Denver, please, I hope to God Zach Wilson is starting. Minnesota, Sammy D, you already know. Then it starts Buffalo, Pitt, New England. I mean, At home, I'll take us all day, every day over Buffalo. Pittsburgh, I don't believe what they're doing over there right now. Their defense is good, but is Watt going to be not hurt by that time? I mean, the last couple of years, he's been hurt by week 6. And then he's, you see what he is, right? That defense doesn't do well when he's not there. Then New England, then Houston. Houston's that trap game, man. We're going to be rolling on that damn winning streak, and we're going to be like, oh, we got Houston. We look what we did to them last year with Zach Wilson. And then it's that one game that the Jets lose that we're all like, God damn it, this fucker should have won, right? Arizona, Indy. Is Anthony Richardson going to be Anthony Richardson? We don't know. So, and then after that, man, it's just stack them W's until we get to Buffalo.
14-3.
Yeah, man. That's what
All
I
right,
say.
Johnny.
Hey, are
I'll
you
say
guys
this.
going?
I think people are hyping the Texans.
Home openers?
Nah, I can't, bro. If it wasn't on Thursday night, I would have been.
Same.
But, yeah, I got a family trip with the
I'm going to
kids.
the Jags game if you want to come.
Hey, I think
I'll be
that
at
might
the
be
Pittsburgh game.
I think that might be for sure Pittsburgh is the game that I'm going to go to because, with everybody going there, right? But then the other one is that Jacksonville and Dolphins make it a whole trip with the family and be able to stay out there.
The Dolphins game too. So I'm thinking about the Dolphins game too. I've never been to Hard Rock Stadium, and I'm very intrigued about going there. So I'm thinking about going to that Dolphins game as well.
I'll be at the Cardinals game, of course. And I'm actually thinking of going to San Francisco away.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I want to go to that one so bad, but that's just too far.
Hey,
it's a lot. We're trying to make it work, but
there's
my
a whole bunch of
Jet
fans going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I heard.
So you should get talk with Gunny and get in touch with Nick Shine. And
yeah. I've been DMing him already.
Nice.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I
appreciate
you guys.
Appreciate you, dog. 14-3. I'm gonna see if anybody beats that.
Hey,
all right, brother.
Go Knicks.
Later, Johnny. Hey, DK, what's good, brother? Oh, no, wait, no, this is Murph. What's up, Murph? How you doing?
Close. You're close.
No. I was looking at the next person after you.
Hey,
what's
I'll
up,
take
man?
that as
How
a
you doing?
compliment. I like DK. He's a good dude, man. Hey, all right. So Johnny, he's already on the crack pipe. I mean, my God, I love my boy Johnny, but damn, he's almost as crazy as Tigo over here, man. I don't know.
It's May. Be crazy in May. No one will remember.
I got you.
I'm crazy for 18 weeks during the season. You don't need any more.
Yeah, we don't need any extra.
Yeah, no doubt. So just to touch on, I think the AI simulator was like really close, except you just need to flip New England and the Dolphins. I mean, I can see New England going 6 or 7 wins. They are better than you think, Tigo. They do have a lot of good, at least defensive pieces. I mean, they Christian Barmore, Devon Godshaw. They have Christian Gonzalez is a stud, dude. I'm telling you.
Him going down, I think lost him
draft,
defensive rookie of the year.
Himself. Yeah, he would have got defensive. You're right.
Without question.
And Kyle Duggar. They have some pieces, man.
Now, linebacker?
I still think that we're way better. I think he's like a safety hybrid, kind of like Chuck Clark type deal. Like, yeah. So they have some pieces, but they're not as good as we are. They're probably not as good as the Dolphins or Bills are either. But I think they'll squeak out 6 or 7 wins. Plus Brissett, he's a little frisky, like. Yep. He always plays good against us, so I wasn't really thrilled whenever they picked him up, but so yeah, 12-5. I think we're going to take it. I mean, if you want to just simplify things, just look at Aaron Rodgers, in the years that he has started most of the games. I mean, look at their records, man.
Right.
Regardless of what the team looks like, they always do well. They always win the division. That's what he's used to. And as Jets fans, that's what we need to get used to. So I mean, it's something that we just have to accept. Just like I got to accept that Abby won't give me the last 4 digits of that number. I've been trying every which one. I don't know, man. I'm just kidding, Abby.
I do think something that you said really sticks out is that I think a lot of Jets fans are still in their same old Jets mentality, and I totally get why, right? This team has
PTSD.
hurt us. This team has
PTSD.
hurt
Hard to
us
break.
more than enough times to where believing in them is hard. But I do think that at a certain point in time, I don't think it's drinking the Kool-Aid. Because there's not, it's not the team selling us a pipe dream. Like, we've got the goods. Just we're a good team, and I think Jets fans haven't really come to grips with that. Is the fact that there is a reality in all of the infinite universes that exist where the Jets are a good football team, and we happen to be living in one of those right now. And once that happens, I think maybe people come and start being a little bit more crazy. I think if you're ever going to say any win total over 11 is ridiculous. If we're being like it's hard to win NFL games, but we're a damn good football team. And I think people need to catch up to that a little bit.
On paper, we are.
Two things.
Gotta execute.
Tigo, I think I'm agreeing with you here. And I think a lot of people always say that barring injury, like it's always barring injuries. Honest to God, the only injury that we need to be barring is Aaron Rodgers. And I do think that Tyrod Taylor can take us and we could maybe squeak out 9-10 wins, whatever. But if Aaron Rodgers is healthy all season, we're winning the division. I mean, that's just how it's going to go. Even if Garrett Wilson goes down, I'm knocking on wood here, don't get me wrong. And or whoever it may be, I think as long as Aaron's healthy, he's taking us at least to the playoffs with a division title, which do we even have? We got 3 ever in the history? I'll take it. My God. And also, Johnny, your damn tricep is right here. That's off camera, buddy. I don't need to flex for Abby. I'm already flexing my wonderful personality.
Oh, the Riz. I love it.
Oh, Merv, I appreciate you, brother. All right, so you got them at
Love you
12
guys. Have a
and
good
5,
night.
man. You have a good night, brother.
Yep.
All right, so 12 and 5, man. All right, next we got Dark Soldier. What's up, Dark? How you doing, brother?
What's up? Hello, Gunny, Abs, Tigo. Finally, see you.
How you living tonight, man?
Living great. You?
Man, living the dream, as they say, Doug. Living
Living
the
the
dream.
dream.
I'm over here talking Jets football with you, beautiful people.
Yeah. So I have very similar to what you said, Gunny. Almost, I think, verbatim. 12 and 5 with the Jets. My 5 losses are Niners, I think Steelers, as Ab said, Rams. Then I have them splitting with Buffalo and Miami. So those are the 5 of me. Fins 10 and 7. Bills, I've been saying this since the end of the season. 9 and 8. They're coming in third. They've been on the decline for the last 4 years, points per game and points allowed per game. And I have the Pats 5 and 12. Division games are very hard, regardless of how different in talent teams are. So
yeah, we all play each other very different. We all play each other very hard.
The division, but not against the Jets. And that's it.
So do you got a sweeping? Who do you got a sweeping this year? Just
the Pats.
Just the Pats.
Yeah, and then splitting with the Bills and Fins. But good news is we play Miami in December, which they suck at. So hopefully we could sweep them then. But I'm just trying to be a realist.
I'll say this: if we were ever going to sweep the Dolphins, getting them in December is probably how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? I think these guys, if we're talking about an even playing field, by that I mean playing them on their turf in freaking September or October, you're asking our boys to do a lot to keep up with those guys. Again, they got 5 guys who run in the 4.3s. That's insane to me. That's just disgusting, and it's not even right. But it's a track team. A bunch of track stars on that team. But in December, hey, it gets a lot more physical in December. So you got to go ahead and show up. And I think, again, we're going to see whether or not this team can go ahead and gut through. But it's very plausible that the Jets, I think, could get the sweep because of that aspect. But I'm still going to stick with my guns on this one and think we split with them because I got too much respect for McDaniel, if not
exactly
the track star on that team. But
Tio, right. I feel bad for Tua because I think he's going to get killed with the offensive line, like how lacking it is.
I've been saying the same thing, man. Like a
don't
lot
want
of the
him.
Dolphins content creators that I speak with, a lot of the Dolphins fans, they're excited about what this team got worse. The team didn't get better. If you ask them, oh no, we got better. We've added this piece. You added a bunch of guys. You've added depth, but you've lost stars. Like Robert Hunt was a stud, right? Freaking Wilkins was a superstar, right? He's gone now, right? Like your secondary got worse. Talking about Fuller.
Wait, how did their secondary get worse? They brought in Fuller to replace arguably the worst secondary player in the.
Fuller led the league in explosive plays given up last year.
Yeah,
guy gets cooked ridiculously.
He's better than Xavier Howard or whatever his name was.
I think they're a wash. If I'm being honest, man.
I think Fuller's much better. Yeah, I get what you're saying with the explosive plays, but I think their secondary got better.
All right. But thanks, Scotty, for having me. Take care, everyone.
Of course, Dark. Appreciate you, brother. You have a good night, Doc.
I love you. Bye.
All right, and then we got B-Mac. What's up, B-Mac? How you doing?
Hey guys. I just want to pop on here. Just to talk some Jets with y'all. Y'all are legends. You know, Gunny Tigo. Happy. Big fan of yours too. So
appreciate you, B-Mac.
Yeah, thank you. I think that list is pretty spot on. Some of it is. I did predict y'all to go 12-5. The Patriots is a little bit out of reach in my opinion. 9 wins is kind of high. I said we building team. I think they got a lot of work to do. I think the Miami Dolphins should get more wins, around double digits, in my opinion. And I think the Bills, I don't know. I'm a little bit back and forth on them. Yes, they got a amazing quarterback, but you know how much can he do with this less talent there? I mean, he still has his legs, so he can still carry them in crucial situations. But I don't know. I think the Bills, I would still have them behind y'all as the second best team in the division. But maybe around 11 wins, and then maybe the Dolphins at around 11 wins too. And then the Patriots around maybe 4 or 5. So, yeah.
So, B-Mac, you're a Packers fan, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. What's your prediction for your Packers this year?
I think we're going to win the division too. I think we're going to win our division. I think we what we proved last year, you know, with the young team going into Dallas, destroying them. You know what I mean? And I think Dallas was one of the best teams last year in the conference, and we went in there, kicked it. You know, just it's kind of shocking. Like me as a Packer fan wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? And we were a few plays away from beating San Francisco, who was just in the Super Bowl and had a chance to win it. So I do like our team. I do like Jordan Love. Wasn't a big Jordan Love believer when we drafted him, but now I'm starting to get on the train. You know what I mean? I think with us, it's about, you know, consistency. You know, can we follow up what we did last year? Can this team, even though they're young, can really not buy into the hype, not buy into the presence? I think what was different for when we had Rodgers. I think the reason why that we were so good year after year after year, because we were so experienced, and we know that like we didn't like read our clippings. Like every time that, you know, we won the division or had go to 11 and 12 wins, you know, I think Rodgers and the veterans we had kept everybody focused and you know, had to let people know that how important consistency is. Hopefully with this young team, you know, they can progress and not get too overconfident and cocky, and really take the next step to the next level.
I got a question real quick. Miami plays Green Bay this year.
Yes.
Who do you think takes that game?
I
have Miami losing, so I'll just say that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I have to go with the Packers just by this standpoint. It's in the late. It's going to be late in the season. And Miami, they don't play well in cold weather. Tua hasn't won a game when the temperature is below 45 degrees. So I think by the end of the year they kind of fizzle out. We've seen that from them the last few years. They get off to a hot start and then they kind of tail off at the end. So I think the Packers will win. It's going to be a close game. I'm not predicting no blowout or nothing like that. It's going to be one of them tight games because the Packers do that to me. They do give me heart attacks. Even in the Rodgers era, there's games that they should blow out teams and they let that team hang around and it comes down by a last second field goal, game-winning field goal. So. But yeah, I do got the Packers winning. But yeah, I think that just because the Dolphins they struggle in cold weather, and again, at the end of the year they seem to tail down. But yeah, I do want to ask y'all a question, and this is about I did brought this up with this morning with Paul Green and Nick. Do y'all think I said to Paul Boy Green he should get in touch with JD and JD should get in touch with Jordy Nelson so Jordy Nelson could come and be our wide receiving coach. You know what I mean? Like I think that that would be a great situation for him. Get him out of retirement, get him out of that country farm that he lives on. And have him going in and coach up y'all wide receivers. What do you think about that?
I mean, if we're being honest, Jordy Nelson knows Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? Had a lot of great success with Aaron Rodgers. And we're talking about, bringing him in now to go ahead and kind of like fast track these guys to understand what Rodgers likes, how they can maximize their time with him. Kind of in the same way we brought in Randall Cobb last year. I don't think we brought in Randall Cobb last year to be a legitimate wide receiver for the Jets. He was supposed to be that in facto coach that got the suit up. But to have Jordy Nelson, man, I think Jordy Nelson, he was fun to watch. Like one of the guys that I think Aaron Rodgers had a lot of rapport with. Not a guy that had a bunch of physical gifts either, but understood the importance of being able to go ahead and find zones and find the spots. And I think that's the reason why, like, I would be down for it, as an assistant wide receiver coach, most definitely. But I also don't want anybody messing up with what Garrett Wilson is or who he is. I don't want them trying to go ahead and take away from his instinct to go ahead and pretty much get the ball and get upfield. I wouldn't want him to go ahead and adjust that. I would much rather have Aaron Rodgers kind of adapt to what Garrett Wilson is. This is a guy who's had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with no quarterback, in the words of freaking the Buffalo Jets fan, with a pet rock at quarterback. He's been able to go ahead and achieve back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. So I don't want Garrett Wilson being touched. I just want to see Garrett Wilson with a real quarterback, see what he can be. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, though, man, especially to go ahead and fast-track these guys being on the same page with Aaron Rodgers. Abby?
Yeah.
Oh, Gunny says it perfectly all the time. I would be open to it, you know what I mean? But, there's a whole reason why everyone's calling us, what is it, the New York Packers now?
Packers East or something like that?
Yeah. Bring them all.
And then one thing real quick before I head out. Does it kind of annoy y'all that the national media and everybody says if the Jets are healthy, if Rodgers healthy, because they don't have that same conversation about the Cincinnati Bengals. Like Joe Burrow has 2 season-ending injuries and in 4 years he's played, and people don't really put him in that. Oh, if he stays healthy. And there's a couple of teams out there that have injury issues, and
I've said
say
that.
if they,
I've said that before with Kirk Cousins. no one's talking about him. He has the same injury, but no one bats an eye. It's always just because Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Like Kirk Cousins. Like people say, oh, Kirk Cousins is, Kirk Cousins gonna light up with the Falcons, but people don't bring up that he has the same injury as Rodgers, and Kirk Cousins' injury is on his plant leg. Rodgers' injury is on his non-plant leg, so Rodgers can still do enough to. So, what do y'all think about that whole? Like, I get it. Like, he is 40, coming off a major injury. But they talk like Rodgers is like it's like injury prone. Like, he's not injury prone. Like he's been durable throughout his career. It's just a freak thing that happened. Like I said, right place, wrong time. So do that really like bother y'all when people keep saying if y'all stay healthy?
I mean, I think it applies to every team, though, right? You brought up Joe Burrow, which is a perfect example. This is a guy that hasn't played a full season except for once in his 4 years already in the league, but somehow, some way, he's consistently considered a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. We've seen him do it one time. Like, let's relax for a second. But that's not in the conversation. I mean, Tua, for the first time in his career, finished an entire season last year. All of a sudden, the 1 year he did it means he can now do it nonstop. Like, Aaron Rodgers has played in the league for 20-plus years and has only missed 2 years in that due to injury. That is not injury prone. The Achilles injury specifically has been proven by doctors like it's a fluke injury. Like, you really don't know when it's going to go. It just happens when it's going to happen. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There's no rhyme or reason as to why or how it happens. So, no, it doesn't bother me. I think that individuals who use that as their shield are individuals who are legitimately concerned about what could potentially happen if a healthy Aaron Rodgers plays for this New York Jets freaking team. Because the next thing they'll tell you is just like, oh, he was on the decline freaking in 2022. And then I laugh at them and I'm like, top 10 stats was a decline for Aaron Rodgers. I want you to listen to that. Top 10 stats at the quarterback position was considered a decline for Aaron Rodgers. Then when's the last time the New York Jets had a top 10 quarterback in the NFL? I can't remember. You mean to tell me we'd be upset with 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 3,700 yards, 63% completion? I laugh at it because, again, it just goes to show that people are reaching at straws. Because the 2022, if the New York Jets had that last year or the year before, the New York Jets would have won the AFC East. I believe that with top 10 Rodgers. So even if we get that, I'm going to be excited about it. But I love the fact that people are using injury as their hope and their shield, because that's really the only factor. If Aaron Rodgers can't stay healthy, is the only hope most teams are going to have and feel good about, and they're all kind of reaching for those straws.
Yeah, that's I just think that he will stay healthy, and I think y'all. I mean, like I said, like even if he stays healthy, and like some of y'all main pieces go down, I still think that's enough for y'all to get through. But yeah, I mean, every franchise quarterback got to stay healthy. Like if Patrick Mahomes goes down week 1, the Chiefs aren't winning the Super Bowl. If the Bills quarterback Josh goes out, they're not winning the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? If like usually, like if you lose your franchise quarterback, yeah, I mean you pretty much cook. If we lost Jordan Love next year, we pretty much done too. So I think that applies for a lot of teams. But yeah, that's all I want to come and talk about. I just want to say that y'all great. Keep doing what y'all doing. Go Packers, go Jets, and hopefully we can get the Super Bowl match. And let's go.
All right, appreciate you, B-Mac. You have a good night, brother. All right, we got one more, and then we can go ahead and call it. Jay, you there?
I think so. Can you hear me?
I mean, we can hear you. We just can't see you.
Oh, not this again. I don't understand.
You're in a darkness retreat like Aaron Rodgers.
He's calling from the darkness retreat.
Dang, you must have gone on that ayahuasca thing like Jordan Poyer and Von Miller.
Yep, the ayahuasca tour.
Did they actually go on one?
Yes, they had they're in a whole video talking about their experiences. Yeah.
Where did they do it?
I think Missouri upstate. Or Montana or something. It said Missouri.
The only reason I asked is because down here in Florida, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of these different retreats and stuff.
I'm gonna join it. Maybe because I'm on my iPad. I'm gonna join it from my phone. Let me just hop out of this one real quick.
All right, cool. Yeah,
I'll say this because I didn't get to answer.
Go ahead.
I didn't get to answer. Keep Jordan Nelson away from this football team, in my opinion.
Why
Hasn't
is
played
that?
with Rodgers in 7 years and has never coached a day in his career. Keep him off my football team.
All right, fair enough. Fair
I just
enough.
didn't
What's
get
up?
the answer.
What's up, Jay?
You
What's
got me
your
now?
predictions
I mean, what, for the whole year?
for the AFC East, where you got everybody finishing out at?
I mean, I think we're gonna split with the Dolphins and the Bills for sure. Because I don't know. I don't think the Bills are going to be as good as everybody thinks they're going to be. Their receiving core is a little bit questionable. I know they did get Keon Coleman, who looks like he's going to be a stud, but like they don't have Josh or Stephon Diggs anymore. So I don't know. I could even maybe see us beating them twice, so that could happen. We're definitely going to sweep the Patriots. There's no doubt about that. I don't care what anybody says. And if we don't, I think somebody should get fired because there's no way in hell we shouldn't beat them. But the Dolphins games are going to be questionable too because I think we play them in Miami week 18, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, I hate going to Miami because their stupid stadium is designed with that stupid home field advantage, which is dumb. But I think we can win it, man. Like, we have the team to do it if they stay healthy. They have the pieces. They definitely made enough moves in the offseason. We talked about it a bunch, and like it's about health. That's it. That's the main key this year is health. And like we all saw what happened last year. We got screwed. We're at 4 plays into the game. And this year we're going week 1 against a team that just played in the freaking Super Bowl. So I'm excited for this year. It's gonna be crazy. The AFC East is gonna be good too because I think there's, like I said, there's gonna be 3 teams that are potentially could win it. Like what I mean, the Dolphins are gonna be, I think, a contending team. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, but I'm not too worried about the Bills. But I think the Jets can win it. I have them finishing the season at 12-5. So
All right. What do you think the Bill? So the Jets obviously finish out up top. What do you have the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Patriots at?
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but I think the Patriots may win like 4 or 5 games max. I don't know. We don't know how Drake May's gonna perform, right? Like he could be a complete bust. He could just be a complete stud. We have no idea. But I can't see them winning more than 4 or 5 games. The Dolphins are going to be good, unfortunately. Like it's just, I know a lot of Jets fans hate on the Dolphins, but they're a good football team. Tua's a good quarterback. We got to stop with this shit that's saying he's a bad quarterback. He's not. He's good. I hate the Dolphins. If you know me, I hate the Dolphins with every bone in my body. I hate the Dolphins, but Tua is not a bad quarterback. He's a good QB. So when he's healthy, he will be good. I think they could potentially win between 11 and 12 games as well. I think they're going to be up there as well. But the Bills, I don't know. I can see them going maybe 10-7. Like I said, I can see us beating them twice, but it'll be tough because, like I said, it's just on health. If we're fully healthy, I think we do beat them. But I don't know. We're so early talking about this. I know, like you got to do it for the content and stuff like that. But like,
I'm saying,
it's just I see like people having these spaces, and it's like, guys, it's May. Like we gotta relax. Like I get
Those
it. Like,
a man after my own heart.
yeah, no, like I get it. Like you guys
It's
know me,
May. Why
I'm a
are we
writer.
talking about
I
this
write
seriously?
like, I'm in the process of writing an article about Brees Hall, and like you know what I mean. It's just you got to do what you got to do, but it's just like we're in May, so I feel like last year we kind of jinxed it, and I don't want to say that's why Rodgers got hurt, but you know what I mean. We all just hyped it up too much, but.
No, I made the mistake last year of like saying 13 wins, and I'm not doing that again.
Well, I think I said 14. So,
but did you say that in May or in September? Because it's different.
I said it in September.
See, there's the problem.
Yeah, no,
and people came for me.
I think once the schedule came out last year, I looked at it and I was like, "There's a lot of winnable games." Like, even this year, like, there's a lot. Like, I think we're gonna go 12-5, but like, I think we're gonna start off the season with a loss. And I hate to say that because I'm gonna be there, but that's gonna be that game right there is like
it's the hardest game on our schedule. It's the hardest game without question on our schedule.
Easily.
The 49ers. Absolutely. I have us losing that game too. I mean, I hate to say it, but I have us losing that game too. You're talking. I think we all do. I think Abs, you have us losing that game, and I think you too, right, Tigo?
We're not going to get blown out though.
No,
it'll be 33-30.
It's going to be a fun game.
Like last second field goal to win it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think our defense is going to be. It's going to have a good game. And like I said, Rodgers. Good thing is they're playing on grass, so that's another thing to keep in mind. They're playing on grass, so they're not playing on turf. So hopefully it doesn't happen. But it's just how he comes out, right? He can come out and completely stink it up. We don't know. We have no idea. So that's why I like just talking about it in May. It's like I get it, but
I gotta agree here. We got freaking Nate that says let fans get excited. Yeah, it's May, but this is our prime time as Jets fans, and
yeah.
it's been our story for the last couple of years, right? This is when we get excited before it comes crumbling down for us in the regular season, but not this year. This is not going to be that year. This year, it's going to be different. I have a feeling that the Jets have changed. They're not going to punch us in the face anymore when the season kicks in. They're going to go ahead and actually treat us right as Jets fans. This is what we've been waiting for. The change has been manifested. I think we're going to have a great year. Jay, I
I'm
appreciate you
looking
coming.
forward to it, bro. Like I already have, like I said, I've already got my ticket booked for the week 1. I got my flight booked for the home opener. I already planned like 4 more games I'm coming to, so I'm ready to roll, bro. Like, and this is
Coming
gonna
to
be like my
Jacksonville?
first. I don't know about that, but
Ah, come
I'm from
on.
Canada. I'm from Canada, so just for me to get to New Jersey, it's like I gotta fly there and stuff, and I'm literally flying across like from Canada to Santa Clara. It's gonna be a long flight, so.
So you ain't coming to Arizona either.
Actually, I was thinking about that because my buddy's dad lives in Arizona, and I've always wanted to go there, but it just. I don't know. Like I said, I'm from Canada, so I'm gonna be spending a lot of money this year just getting there. So I got a lot of games I want to go to, but we'll see.
Where in Canada?
Honestly, if I look out my window, I can see Detroit. So right
Okay.
there. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming on and sharing your thoughts
Appreciate
with
it.
us.
You guys have a good night, eh?
Have a good night, man.
Bye.
All right. Listen, so there you have it. It looks like the majority of Jets fans feel really good about what this season can possess. Some of us more so than others. We've got 14-3 being the mark. We've got 10-6 or 10-7 being that low end. But ultimately, I think when we look at this roster, we can all agree it should be some exciting football. And if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, that we could potentially achieve the promised land, whether it's the AFC Championship game, whether it's a Super Bowl, whether for some of y'all it's just winning a playoff game. I know some fans are just like, just get us to the playoffs so we can end this drought and be done with it. I think some of us have higher aspirations than that, but that's the show for the night. I wanted to say thank you again, Tigo and Abby, for spending some time with us, hanging out at the hangar. Abby, tell the people where they can go ahead and find you.
Oh, it's right there. I'm on Instagram and TikTok. I've been going on TikTok live a lot, and I do it randomly without no notice. So follow me on TikTok. It's ab602434. It's not my number, so don't try.
Hey, she's talking to you, Murph. She's talking to you.
And there was a comment earlier about my thumbnail that you used. And I have like a blue jacket on, and people thought I was like repping Bill's colors. I'm like,
no, it was a
it's
coat.
a Columbia jacket. Let's start
What?
there.
I'm
And
just
on top
saying.
of that,
I thought the same thing for a second.
oh no! Well, and then you have to remember, I'm a U of A Wildcat. Like their colors are red and blue. So.
It's Gunny's fault. He put you right underneath the Bills logo.
Yeah.
I used her. No. That was the AFC template.
Yes,
and then I used
you
her
put
picture.
her underneath the Bills logo. Should have flipped it or
I
something.
I put her in the seat that is on the freaking thing. There's a seat there and a microphone. I put her there as the guest speaker on the show. That's what that meant. No, she's a freaking Jets fan. Obviously, people. I don't know who thought that she wasn't, but that's my bad. That's my fault.
I just thought it was funny. I'm like, we're really arguing about my jacket. Like, first of all, that was one of the most epic backgrounds. You missed that whole part on top of it.
Right, but it's cool. I get it. I'm still mastering
they
the
were
art
in
of the
here.
thumbnail.
Someone in here was saying that I went to U of A and I'm an Arizona Wildcat.
Okay,
so, which is very
you had backup.
So
you
I
had
will
backup.
rep that. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Very well. Appreciate you. So again, all of her details on I think it's not Twitter, but the Instagram as well as her TikTok is in the freaking description. Go follow her. I love watching her rants because she goes off. If you got some time when you're at the office or you're driving home from work or to work, trust me, it's worth the listen. She'll keep you entertained and awake. I appreciate you. All right, Tigo, where can the people find you, my guy?
Talking Jets with Tigo.
It's also below. Yeah, it's also below in the description.
That too. Guys, it's May and June. If you want measured takes right now, I'm not the channel. I'm just going to be honest about you. I'm making can freaking Malachi Corley win Offensive Rookie of the Year videos. That's what we're doing. It's June and May, man. It's May and it's June. Training camp hasn't even started yet. Like, this is the time where we get to have fun, but a lot of I'm actually doing a lot of tape study on a lot of the new guys and going to do a whole series on how the new guys that have joined our team, rookies and free agents, how they impact our team outside of just being better players than what we had before. So like real X's and O's kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, Talking Jets with Tigo.
Boom. I appreciate you. Again, I want to thank you both for hanging out with us tonight at the Hangar. Everybody that's currently right now in the chat, man, you guys are awesome. Y'all make this stuff fun. Like, we do this, and it is your engagement that allows us to keep going. This was supposed to be an hour show, so Abby and Tigo, I apologize. I thought it was going to be an hour show, but they came to talk today. So here we are, an hour and 45 minutes later. I'm going to let y'all get some rest. I appreciate you guys. As always, go Jets.
Go Jets.